Hello, friends.
Hey.
Welcome to another episode of the Cinemondo podcast with Kathy, Mark,
and Burk.
and Burk.
Now you know who we are. All right.
That's who we always are, too.
Always have been.
You can count on it.
And we don't stop talking about movies. And now to make it even more interesting, we just talk about scenes, not even whole movies,
Right.
just scenes.
Our favorite scenes.
Yeah.
What
It's
makes
pretty
them our
fun.
favorite? We'll discuss that.
Yeah, but we want to hear about your favorites too. So be sure and subscribe and comment and like, and then tell
Yes.
us what you like in
Yes.
scenes.
Because movies are made up of a whole bunch of different little scenes that they put together. And when they put all the scenes together, it makes the whole movie.
It's a whole collection.
And there are iconic scenes that we can always talk about, but these are more. Why does this particular scene? Why does this something stick in our brain?
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
we like to see and like to watch over and over again, whether it's on YouTube or actually the whole film.
Yeah.
So I'll go first.
All right.
Okay.
Mark?
I'm putting together two scenes that are both sort of dream sequence scenes from two totally different movies. One is Christopher Nolan's Inception, which everybody knows about. It's beautifully made. And the second one is John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness, which is completely different, but it feels more like a dream to me.
Mhm.
So let's watch.
And it's hard to do a
Very
dream
cool.
scene in a movie.
Yes, I think
Yeah.
they usually don't seem like the kind of dreams I have. Anyway, I
Right.
don't have that
Yeah.
angst or that weird sense of something. And I think the Prince of Darkness scene feels like that, even though in the movie it's really not a dream. It's a
Right.
transmission. So anyway, but let's do the first one.
Which
do
which
it.
is
Let's start with Inception.
okay.
Insane.
Yeah.
That's how you end a fight.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you see that?
Well,
I mean,
that-
my God.
Yeah.
Just
That's-
breathtaking
Yeah.
on so many
that's
levels.
Pure cinema.
Woo.
That's the kind of
Yeah.
hair back of your neck kind of stuff.
Yeah, I
You know?
remember seeing this in the theater, and it was just like it's One of those scenes where the whole theater screen is turning
Yeah.
upside down, and you
Because the
feel
set,
like
they actually filmed it on a revolving set.
Yeah.
So that's how they did
Oh, my
that. And
God.
of course, Hans Zimmer's score, everything about it is just like
Oh,
propulsive
crazy.
and intense. It's not the kind of dreams I have. I wish I had cool dreams like that.
I don't think anyone has dreams like that because they were
Right.
in the car. Like I loved how
Yes.
the truck or the van it's sort of imitating the action inside the dream,
Right.
which
because
was
they're
just
feeling it
spectacular.
while
Yeah.
they're dreaming inside a dream.
Yes.
It's a movie that you really have to think about when you're watching it.
Chris
'cause
Nolan
and
always.
each level deeper into the dream, you're dreaming in a dream, so then the time slows down. So
Right.
Yeah.
the van is spinning slower in the dream about the van. It's so, but once you get there's a lot of people that said they didn't understand this movie, but
You have to watch it a few times, but
Yeah.
once it clicks in, then it all makes sense.
once you get it,
Yeah, I still haven't gotten it with Tenet, but that's because it's a different thing for me. But,
yeah.
But Inception's great, and I think that's a beautiful bit of cinema.
Just the
Yeah.
stunt
Yeah.
choreography, just
Yeah.
crazy,
And so
stunning.
And Joseph Gordon-Levitt, just
Yeah.
great stuff.
Love him.
Hopping around
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
stuff. The second one is a John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness from 1987.
I haven't seen this in
And-
ages.
Yeah, and this is just kind of the ending transmission, but it feels like a dream to me. So
Okay.
let's watch that.
Yeah.
So creepy.
Wow, from the future.
Yeah,
It's so trippy.
Yeah.
there's the static of it. It feels like, remember that movie, The Vast of Night, where there's a
Yeah.
scene where they're talking. You know,
Yeah.
it's like when you're a kid with a transistor radio, you would just try to get far radio stations.
Yeah.
There's just a weird feeling to that static and that broadcast and
And it
visual.
looks like they filmed it off of a television. Back then,
Yeah.
that's how they
Yes.
would have done
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Now you could do a special
even
effect plug-in or
creepier.
something. But then I think they actually they took the film and played it on a television and then filmed the television.
Yeah. It just gives me that feeling of it. It's just very creepy, weird, and I love it.
And the idea of it is
Yeah,
cool too,
yeah,
that it's like, we have not yet developed the technology to communicate with you in your conscious mind, but we can send these messages back to your dreams
Right.
to warn you about something horrible.
So I know where this was shot. Like,
Oh,
we've
yeah.
all driven past it a million times.
Yeah.
I can't drive past this
Oh, yeah.
without looking at it and thinking about that scene. Like that scene is so imprinted on my brain that every time I drive past this little church, this little weird church
Yeah,
thing, I'm like,
downtown.
oh my God.
I actually shot a video with a friend of mine.
Right.
We went down there and he stood like on the front stoop of it, and I filmed it around the gate.
Oh,
and
did you really?
came in on him, and he was putting his arms up like that, and
Oh,
he's like,
wow.
"This is coming to you from the year 1999."
Darwin would just pop in for a moment.
It's so.
It was a great scene.
Yeah, I love that scene.
And they
Really,
both
it's a
of those
favorite.
scenes give you that disorienting sense of dreamlike, the
Right.
dreamlike feeling.
Right.
Just very hard to do. You can always,
In very different ways.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
there is
Yeah.
a connection there. So those
Yeah.
are my two favorite scenes.
Very
They
cool.
really
So,
are.
if you were listening on the podcast too, the Inception scene was probably hard to appreciate,
right.
but it's definitely go to our YouTube channel if you're listening and try and just watch that scene because it's just amazing. I know it's
Yeah.
just you heard just a bunch of Hans Zimmer music, but
Yeah.
it was really amazing.
Which
And a
isn't so
gunshot.
bad either, but,
A bunch of people bumping around. And
I
stuff. You're like, what are they doing?
Yeah. So very funny.
All right.
So who wants to go next?
I'll go.
All right, Kathy, what do we got?
Let's say so. I picked some scenes that have to do with the stress and amped up competition of workplace anxiety.
Yes.
So I don't think
You know it
anything
well.
hits that note more perfectly than American Psycho with the business card scene, which is just amazingly iconic. And then I have another scene on a little different level from a film called Wanted. Not a huge film. A lot of people probably getting confused with other movies, but it was
Right.
Angelina Jolie and John McAvoy. right? James McAvoy.
Yep.
And it's just one of those films that it seems like it's not going to be anything really that special, and then it's this incredible like action choreography, almost like Inception, just insane camera work and great setup. So we're going to start with American Psycho.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
Is that a gram? New card. What do you think?
Oh, very nice. Look at that.
Picked them up from the printers yesterday.
Good coloring.
That's bone. And the lettering is something called Cillian Rail.
It's very cool, Bateman, but that's nothing. Look at this. That is really nice. Eggshell with Romalian type. What do you think? Nice. Jesus. Nice. That is really super. How did a nitwit like you get so tasteful?
I can't believe that Bryce prefers Van Patten's card to mine.
But wait, you ain't seen nothing yet. Raised lettering, pale nimbus, white.
Ooh. Impressive. Very nice. Let's see Paul Allen's card. Look at that subtle off-white coloring. The tasteful thickness of it. Oh my God. It even has a watermark.
Something wrong? Patrick? You're sweating.
Wow.
A lot of people don't realize American Psycho is actually a comedy.
Oh, yes.
I think a lot of people, they concentrate on the gore, which there is, and the book especially is even worse.
Yes.
Not worse than that, but a lot more gory. But I love this scene because you get the sort of the super hyper arrogance of every person in the room being an alpha male. So they're all in the same room together. They show their cards, and they literally look exactly the same.
Yes.
They all look exactly the same. So I love that slight distinction that the card is going to make the man.
Right.
And so you hear it in Patrick Bateman. A lot of that dialogue's in his head where he's trying to explain to himself like, oh, that's what that is. Like he's sort of breaking it down in his head like, why didn't I think of that? And so the whole thing is about his insecurity and how he is trying so hard to be the alpha male of all alpha males. And so in doing that, he has all these like total like insane murderous like fantasies, and murder ensues. But ultimately, I don't think the murders are real. I don't know if that's ever really explained. They don't really happen. It's all in his head. Most of the stuff is in his head.
The book feels like it. It
it's a lot more clear in the book.
Yes.
But I love it. I mean, even the murder scenes. I mean, there's another scene I'll bring out later of the famous Huey Lewis scene. I don't know if YouTube lets us do that, but it's such a fantastic scene of just, it brings the comedy, it brings the dark humor, and a lot of people don't realize this was actually directed by a woman, Mary Harron. And I think it sort of surprises people that women can bring the gore and the horror and the black comedy so perfectly tuned to this, especially when it's about this toxic, workplace sort of comedy. I think she did a brilliant job on this.
Well, one interesting thing about this scene to me is the fact that those kind of guys, I've worked with people like that, and in Hollywood
Everyone
and stuff,
has, right?
been in those board meetings with people who have no sense of creativity or whatever, and they have this idea that they do. They imagine that they do, but the thing is, these cards were very tasteful cards. They're very bland. There's nothing creative about it, and in fact what they seem to be responding to is how uncreative they are.
Right.
That's
and
the
how
point.
bland they are, and how it's just slightly off white, and these really boring typical fonts. But what it's kind of playing on for me is I've been a designer my whole life, and Kathy, and we all kind of have a sense of design, and we all, I think, are a little obsessed with fonts and design. And when you see a design, we kind of zero in on things like, oh, look at that font, that's a beautiful, that is beautifully blah blah blah, the font, the type design, whatever. But they're playing with it here because that type if you're a designer, you look at those cards and you're like, there's nothing special about those cards.
Well, I think it's that there's a trick to design where you have to not make it look like you're trying too hard.
Right.
And there was this understated perfectly fine-tuned confidence that
Yes.
they're all going for and not quite getting it. Like it
Yeah.
has to be. I love too that Patrick Bateman's color was bone.
Bone,
You know,
yes,
these was
yeah,
pathological, murderous fantasies.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's that just taking it just that little inch further that puts it over the edge. That's what they're all trying to do, and none of them did except for the last guy who did the watermark.
Yeah. My God.
Oh, why didn't I think of that?
Watermark.
I know.
And in Japanese culture, there's a lot of protocol with business cards. You know, you hand them with two hands and you bow a certain degree, you know,
Right.
like 40 degrees.
Yeah.
And you hand it with two hands. The senior person hands their card first with both hands and you exchange. You keep it on the desk in front of, you know, business cards are a weird ritualistic kind of ritualized thing. And I think in this film, they were kind of trying to show that.
Well, especially back then. I mean, now
Yeah.
business cards are kind of a thing of the past.
Yeah.
In many ways, you know.
I know it's too
But-
bad because I still like to get a business card sometimes because it feels more real.
Yeah.
And it seems like nowadays a business card is like this thick, almost like a card, like thick
It's
card.
Or almost like a toy now. It's
Yeah.
like sometimes people will give me a business card. In the
Yeah.
entertainment industry, people will try to go nuts with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll get a business card that you actually fold it into a little house
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something.
Or it's a coaster.
Or
you
it's
know,
3D. Yeah.
So the second workplace I think is more relatable to everyone is the idea that you're just a cog in the machine and how the amped up frustration with the way people talk to you like you're disposable and they don't respect you. And then it compounds the fact that our main character by James McAvoy has kind of a scheme going and there's, you know, you'll see.
Yeah.
So
What's
and
the film
also
called?
it's called Wanted.
Okay.
It stars Angelina Jolie and there's an appearance by Chris Pratt in the scene.
That's right.
So it's kind of fun to see him in something like this.
Pre-Star-Lord.
That's right.
Yes.
What's up with you?
What do you mean?
You're here early. Is there? You seem a little pepped up. You all right?
Well, yeah. Yeah. I guess I feel kind of different.
Whatever. I'm gonna go get some post-it notes. Do you want one?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Post-it notes.
You don't want any?
Wow.
The way he walks up with his head down.
Jesus H. fucking popsicle. I still don't have my billing reports, but you've got time to sit here and Google your ass off. Well, I know one thing. You've got your review coming up next week, and I can't wait to start checking me off some big fucking boxes. Attitude. 4. Performance. 4. Management skills. 4. Works well with others. Ha! That's a fucking joke. What is this bullshit? Who's this prick? Some loser gets his head blown off in the Metropolitan. Shut the fuck up!
Oh, how many of us have felt like that? God.
She has one single iota of tenuous power. She thinks she can push everyone around. You don't need this.
I love it.
What?
I understand. Junior high must have been kind of tough, but it doesn't give you the right to treat your workers like horseshit, Janice. I know we laugh at you, Janice. We all know you keep your stash of jelly donuts in the top drawer of your desk. But I want you to know that if you weren't such a bitch, we'd feel sorry for you. I do feel sorry for you. But as it stands, the way you behave, I feel I can speak for the entire office. When I tell you, go fuck yourself.
Oh.
Yeah, it was great, bro. Who's the man?
No.
I'm the man.
That's just a tiny hint of what's in this film. But I love the slow buildup of the frustration of like just everybody seriously like so hyper concentrated on their little tiny amount of authority that they then lord over anyone that even looks at them. And that great scene of him hitting him, that scene at the end with the keyboard where he hits Chris Pratt in the mouth, that is more what the film looks like than even just the beginning of this, because it's all these incredibly flamboyant, flashy effects and camera work. And it's just a really fun film. And I really related to that workplace moment.
It's very stylized with the action, obviously, you can tell with that scene. But I love the fact that it's, in a cubicle office and it's just everybody can kind of hear your stuff if they want to. So that there's added, that's the stuff that's just drive you nuts. Yeah. So, everybody heard what was going on.
Yeah. And you feel like that, the woman who came over is all performative. Like it's this theater of like, I can be the boss and I'm going to humiliate this man in front of everyone because that'll show everyone I'm the boss. It's like, just a beautiful. So a little bit different from American Psycho because it's less about the personal sort of alpha authority and more about that, drone bee, worker like disappearing into the machine of business, but still trying to rise up and fight back. And that's sort of what this is about.
And you put people into those things like you're talking about, like a drone bee, you're in this hive together and you're in your cubicle, which is like the little beehive sections. And when you put that many people together that close, under stress, usually in an office, there's a lot of stress and there can be like heavy loads of stress. I've been in places like that where
it's palpable.
You can see the guy who's going to throw his coffee
who's
going to be,
just like, and we all feel like that inside. Yeah. Like there's the one who's doing it. And then there's you trying to push that part of you down and just dealing with it, So I just thought that was really well done.
I guess Office Space is the classic film about that.
It is.
Where and what was it, Joe versus the volcano that you mentioned earlier?
Those are just it's just the mundane aspects of work. It's just it's everywhere. So
that's right.
Cool stuff though. I want to see Wanted again. I saw it a long time
It's
ago.
really fun.
Yeah.
All right, Burk, you're up.
Let's see. Well, I've got two here too. And my theme is a sort of exposition thing. And there's a thing in movies where if you want to introduce a character, sometimes different writers, filmmakers, directors have ways of telling you who they are in really quick strokes. Hopefully it's quick and it's not like, a character walks in and then the two other characters in the room say, that's Bill. He's the boss of the whole company and he's not a very nice person at all. In fact, he did this and this and this, that sometimes you feel like you're being expositioned at, but then there's other scenes that you can tell it's exposition, but it's done in such a pleasant way by such a great performer with such great writing that you feel like you're getting exposition, but it's nice. And one way to do that is with a telephone, and it's something you can ask Bob Newhart about. And it's like there's so many scenes in movies, and you may start noticing them now if you don't already notice them, where somebody is on the phone and they say, oh yeah, I'm here alone by myself in the house. Yeah. And my car's not working. Yeah. Not working, and suddenly the person is alone.
Well, I mean, Scream used a phone to be terrifying in the opening scene.
Yes.
So there's lots of scary phone shit.
Phone stuff. But in this case, I think what my point with these is that it tells you the situation, what's going on, the person's situation, and you sort of maybe feel sorry for them, or you get a taste of who they are and how desperate they are and something that's happening to them and how, but there's a movie that was made in 1961 called The Misfits, which is the last film of a couple of amazing actors who you will see in this clip. And it's directed by John Huston. I mean, it's so full. The scene opens with people in a car, and everybody in that car is just A-list. And this movie, when it came out, I think it wasn't very well received when it came out. Right. But now I think people realize what a masterpiece it is. And it's a movie that you don't hear very much about. It's called The Misfits, and it's Marilyn Monroe and Clark Gable.
Montgomery Clift is
in this. Eli Wallach. Thelma Ritter is sitting in the back seat with Eli Wallach. Yeah. It's just amazing cast, amazing writing, amazing director. And this is a great scene where we meet the a character named Purse, and we find out some sad things about him as he speaks on the telephone.
Hey, Gay, stop. Huh? That guy next to the phone booth. What's his name? You worked the Stinson Rodeo with him last year.
First Howard?
Gay Langley. The old buzzard you.
What are you doing sitting out here, fella?
Hi. Oh, I hitched me a ride down to the Dayton Rodeo, but this fella changed his mind and just let me sit in here.
Oh, Russell, this is Purse Howard.
Well, old Gay's sure coming up in the world. How do, man?
Miss Isabel.
Hi. Oh, excuse me. I got a call in for home, but they keep putting me in Wyoming. Hello? Hello? Hello, Ma? This Purse. Yeah, I'm okay. No, I was in Colorado. I'm in Nevada now. Just won me a bull riding. Yeah. Yeah, but pretty good rodeo. $100. Ma, I was going to buy you a birthday present with it, but I was coming out of my boots. No, Ma, I haven't been in the hospital since I talked to you. I just bought some boots, that's all. Ma, what would I want to get married for? I just bought me... Hey, you know what? On top of purse money, I won me a nice silver buckle. Yeah, got a bucking horse on it, and my entire name written out underneath. You proud? Oh, no, my face is fine. It's all healed up. Just as good as new. You would, too, recognize me. Oh, okay, operator. Ma, listen. Say hello to Frida for me, will you? And to Victoria? Yeah, and to Uncle George? Okay, say hello to him, too. No, Ma, it just slipped my mind, that's all. Well, okay, I'm saying it now. Ma, you married him. I didn't. So say hello to him. Oh, sorry. Listen. Maybe I'll call you Christmas time? Okay. Hello? God bless you, too. I just know you're going to take me down to that rodeo, aren't you?
Sure, you entered?
Well, I aim to be, if I can get me a ride to town. And if I can raise $10 for the entrance. But I just spent my last $2 in that phone booth. Boy, I'm real equipped, ain't I?
Yeah.
That was just pitiful.
I know, but
Whoa.
what a great performance. You know,
Yeah.
Montgomery Clift was so natural. He was so different in every movie, too.
Yeah.
Sometimes he could be this very regal, very well-spoken, but in this one, he's slow.
Well, he's also, this is post-accident in
Yeah.
real life. And, you know, he was
Right.
this gorgeous sort of matinee idol
Right.
in the early 50s. Then he had this reconstructive surgery, and it's just a little bit off, and it kind
Yeah.
of lends to this character. And
Yeah, he's
brings
more of a
it up
character
here, yeah.
actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said. I like too the subtle thing where he would leave the door open
Yes.
for all the stuff that he was bragging about, and then he'd have to kind of shut it for like the
more
kind
Asking
of
mom
weird
for
stuff with
money.
mom. Yeah, it was really, really sad.
And that idea is like, say hello to all these people. Oh, yeah, say hello to him, too. And it's like, well, Ma, you married him. I didn't.
Yeah, the stepdad's your family too. No,
Yeah.
no. And you know, I think it's interesting you picked this clip because you know you only have Marilyn Monroe doesn't even have a line in it.
I
Which
know.
is, you know,
but
she's like
look
the
at her-
star.
Look at her face. Watch that clip again.
Yeah.
And look at her face, the way
Yeah.
she looks at him. Did you ever want somebody
Yeah.
to look at you the way she
No.
looks
So
at Montgomery
sad.
Clift and
Yeah.
that? She
Yeah.
loves
Yeah,
him
she was like,
immediately.
Right.
And
Yeah.
she's just like enamored, you know, like this poor guy. And
Yeah.
she's there for a divorce. You know, she's supposedly in this film like an older, you know, like
Right.
in her 30s. kinda-
Older.
yeah. Like
She's
this-
an old has been at
Yeah.
30.
Yeah. But the film is called The Misfits. It's about these people that are sort of past their prime and
Yeah.
they're going through some rugged times in their
Yeah.
lives. But Marilyn Monroe is just so effortlessly adorable in everything.
It's always great.
It's a
So
great,
sad.
It's an interesting film.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's great.
And it's just the whole movie is just character studies like that and really great little scenes and set pieces. And it takes you into these people's lives like that. This other scene is another telephone exposition scene. It's from a movie that I've talked about quite often on the podcast. It's from Rosemary's Baby, and it's a scene that I think is a great exposition scene because you already know what's happening to her.
Yeah.
She's not really giving you exposition in this phone booth, but what she's doing is she's telling you what is happening to her character in a way that makes you realize what you've been watching is crazy.
Yeah. It's kind of the outsider view of what's happening to her. And you're like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
And you hear her verbalize this to a doctor and you realize, holy crap, nobody would, we know it's true as the viewers, we know, but who the hell would believe it? It's like these people are devil worshipers and they want me to have a baby so that they can sacrifice or what, and it's like, and you can tell that he's probably a little skeptical on the other end of the phone, and she's hearing herself and she's realizing, oh my God, I sound like a crazy person. And I love this scene.
And
also,
we're starting to think she's a crazy person, and we're kind of seeing what's happening, but we're starting to doubt her.
That's
also.
right.
I think as a viewer, it's a very interesting trick.
Like maybe they are just weird neighbors,
Yeah, unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, something to notice when you're watching this is there's a guy who's outside the phone booth, and at the end of the scene, and that's William Castle.
Oh, that's funny.
He's the producer.
He produced it, but he's mostly known for these really cheesy.
I was gonna say,
like 13 Ghosts and House on Haunted Hill and all these, the Tingler, all these sort of gimmick movies that they used to have. But he did a good thing here. He produced Rosemary's Baby. But here's a part of the scene. The whole scene is a bit longer than this, but I just cut it down a little bit.
What else was it that he said? Oh, that's wonderful. That's marvelous. Yes, Dr. Hill?
Did I get the name right? Is it Rosemary Woodhouse?
Yes.
Are you Dr. Hill's patient?
No. Yes, I mean, well, I've seen him once. Please tell him he has to speak to me. It's important. Tell him to call me.
All right.
Thank you.
And she's so hot, and it's like summer in the city, and
All in it together. All of them older than witches. Don't you
talking to herself.
Here, Jenny. I'll kill them before I let them touch you.
she's so good in this movie.
Yes, Doctor.
Mrs. Woodhouse?
Yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you for calling me.
I thought you were in California.
No. I've been to another doctor, and he isn't good, Dr. Hill. He's been lying to me and giving me unusual kinds of drinks and capsules. The baby's due on Tuesday. Remember you told me June 28th? Well, I want you to deliver it.
Mrs. Woodhouse.
No, please let me talk to you. Let me come and explain what's been going on. I can't stay too long here. They'll be coming looking for me. Dr. Hill, there's a plot. I know that sounds crazy. You're probably thinking, my God, this poor girl is really flipped. But I haven't flipped, Dr. Hill. I swear, by all the saints, I haven't. There are plots against people, aren't there?
Yes, I suppose there are.
Well, there's one against me and my baby.
Come to my office tomorrow after 5. And
No! Right now.
Mrs. Woodhouse, I'm not at my office now. I'm home. I've been up since yesterday morning.
I beg you. I beg you. I can't stay here.
My office at 8 o'clock.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
Oh, wait, Dr. Hill?
Yes?
My husband may call you and ask if you've
I'm
heard.
not going to speak to anyone. I'm going to take a nap.
That music.
Oh, it's just William Castle.
Oh, thank God. Oh, I was worried. He sure was like in her personal space.
Yes. Well,
It's
but
like-
it's still outside the telephone booth.
Yeah, but standing right next to the
Right
door.
next to the door.
Thank God.
But he kind of looked from behind. He kind of looks like the bad doctor. You know,
Right.
that's who she
Right,
thinks
right,
it is. That
right.
he's tracking her down.
Yeah.
But to me, that's just such a panic, and she's so frail, and so you just really just want to grab her and say, "I'll take care of you."
Yeah, you really feel for her. I mean, it captures the essence of the film.
Really
you know, her paranoia.
And I like his kind of skeptical, kind of lackadaisical response, like, I don't know, like maybe tomorrow, like, you know, it's sad. And then the more she pushes, the crazier she sounds.
Yeah, there are plots,
and
against
she's not
people.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's all true.
And his voice, the doctor's voice, the classic like late 60s voice of a doctor. Like
it's Charles Grodin.
Is that Charles
Oh,
Grodin?
that's so funny.
We just
that's why I think
sadly just lost recently.
So sad.
But yeah, that's a
that's
favorite
a
movie.
scene.
I can watch it over and over. Performances that just carry films like that. It's you know, Mia Farrow in this film, she's in every shot, and she's so perfectly. I don't like to say weak, but she's a frail, vulnerable character in this film.
Right.
And it's one of those films is like, yeah, what if something like that happened to you? How are you going to tell somebody?
Yeah.
And that was a perfect example. It's like you get on the phone with your rational doctor. She's trying to be rational.
Yeah.
Right.
She wants to go back to rational. She wants to go back to her old doctor and get back into a normal world that she can understand.
Yeah.
And to do that, she has to make him realize there are devil worshipers in my building who want my baby.
I like she starts off okay, like, I just want you to deliver. And then when he's kind of pulling back a little, she's like, they're after me, they're gonna get it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then you know, in the back of his mind, he's like, okay, she's having some problems.
And then she's like, my husband might call you, and
he's like, I take a nap.
So well, I mean, that's a
really
great
well
scene.
done.
I mean,
Yeah.
Rosemary's Baby, you know, the Misfits, Want. I mean, they're great films.
So many
you know,
films, so many great scenes.
Yeah.
And remember, tell us what your favorite scene is.
Yeah, and be
in the
sure and
comment
look
section.
And make sure you go to our YouTube channel because that's where you get to see all the scenes. And if you're watching on YouTube, yay, good for you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And you should, you know, whenever you think about the Cinemondo podcast, you should
like, subscribe, comment.
Please do that because we read everything.
We
and
do.
We really appreciate it. We really do.
We want to hear from you.
Yeah. And thanks for watching and listening.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for watching.
All
See you
right.
next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.